Hello, welcome to another episode of my Noob to Pro series. If you haven't watched the other episodes, I would highly recommend checking it out. So I haven't made a video on this series in a little while. I've been mainly focusing on things from Update 4 and making content on the new things that came out. I do want to do a Waves video. I am hoping to make a video about Waves tips and tricks. Admittedly, I still do need to play more, study some more things before I can make a proper video talking about it and going into depth about it. But anyway, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more AOTR content. And if this is the first time you're seeing me, make sure to check out my channel for other content as well. But anyway, let's get into this episode of Noob to Pro. So right now, I'm level 113, and in the last video, I just prestiged. And now, one of the main things I get asked about during some of my streams are, can you help me get THUNDERSPEARS? And it had me thinking, is it possible to do these quests solo? I had help when I got these ones done, but I haven't done them in a long time, so I kind of wanted to make this video to maybe give some advice on doing this solo so that you can do it as well. And now the skill tree is going to be the most important thing here. I prioritized the damage side the most, just because crit's not going to be super relevant this early in the game. There's just not a lot of things that are going to yield high crit chance nor high crit damage. So just having small flat damage is going to be better, at least I believe. It also just has some better skills like lethal tempo, especially during this. Lethal tempo is going to be a little better just to help clear out the Titans during the escort mission. And I also, sorry, this HUD's in the way, but I do recommend this side as well. For the portable resupply, your cooldown reduction isn't going to be the most helpful. I could definitely see acoustic shells being very helpful during this. So if you do end up wanting to go down this side of the skill tree instead, specifically for acoustic shells, then honestly, that's completely fair. I feel like portable resupply is going to be the most important, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. You may even want to wait until you go down the skill tree until you can get resourceful and maybe even master medic if you need it. So I decided, why not? I opened up some crates, and I ended up getting a Stalfo's attire and spear wing out of like 6 crates. I've been debating on selling these for either keys or scrolls. That's going to be a lot more helpful than cosmetics at the moment. So once I do that, I'll let you know how that goes. But for now, I'll just kind of keep them specifically for this video as well. And now as for the perks, I have all the slots unlocked that you get without any additional family buffs for more perks. And for the body slot, I'm going with fully stocked. Bandages is very important when you're doing stall, which has been the main thing that I've been grinding right now. It just gives me a lot more gold and XP than skirmishes with a luck boost. And if you want more details on that, feel free to check out the last episode. I go more in depth on early game stall builds and advice on when to do stall specifically. So make sure to go check that out as well. And for my offense, I have Peerless Strength. And for my support, I do have Exhumation. This is just soul feed, but slightly worse. But I think it's going to be solid just so we don't have to worry about refills as much, even during the THUNDERSPEAR quests. And this is what my inventory is looking like. I'm just going to be saving my keys to buy either scrolls or mythic perks for THUNDERSPEARS, but I'll get into that once we actually get the THUNDERSPEARS. Alright, so now let's talk about the quests. So the first thing that you have to do is the towers. I do believe you have to do these in order. I think at least you might have to do this and then this. This is typically the order I would recommend anyway. So we're going to hop into Outskirts and then go from there. Alright, and here we are on Outskirts, ready to do the THUNDERSPEAR quest. And now, before we start building our towers, it is important to kill almost every Titan. Make sure to leave one alive for the very end, just so you don't have to deal with 40 additional Titans. Sorry, I'm a little washed with my ODM. I've been mainly doing stall, so I'm kind of used to bigger Titans rather than these little guys. But regardless, I'm going to kill 42 Titans, and then I'll be back once we're almost ready. And actually, before we do that, I'm going to go around where the mission starts, which I believe it starts about here, and I'm actually going to put down a portable resupply here preemptively, just so that we can grab it when things get a little more hectic, and we can let the cooldown start already, just in case we need to put another one down, so we can have multiple up in the map. Alright, and now we're about to kill the last Titan until we start the... There we go. Okay, now we can start putting down the towers, and just as I expected, our portable resupply is almost ready to go. So I'm going to place down the towers. And actually, since I'm there, I'm just going to refill. I'm going to put down the tower, refill, and then go fill up the other one. So I'll be back when we get there. And all you got to do is just stand here, I think. Yep, all you have to do is stand here, and it starts to build itself. All right, and then once we build this one, it will then start an escort mission, which will spawn a wave of titans. We should be ready for them. All right, there we go. And then it goes all the way over there, so we have quite a long time to defend. Admittedly, I wasn't expecting this many. I kind of got a little thrown off. So we did get bitten, and it broke our arm, but we should still be okay. Okay, I do have bandages, so we are actually fine. 65%, and we're getting very close to the end. Well, we still got about halfway through. Ooh, I messed that one up pretty bad. A little unfortunate. Not the worst strategy to just kind of go around and blind some, just so you have a little less to focus on. Oh, I'm out of blades. Okay, that's a little unfortunate. We should be okay still. We're basically at the finish line anyway. Okay, so that was very scary. We almost lost at the very end because I was not paying attention to my blades. Thankfully, we are just fine. Okay, so yeah, make sure you keep an eye on your durability and don't mess up like I did. That almost ended horribly. But anyway, just a reminder that that is with boring and simple on. So let's see if we got it. I believe we should. It should be fine. Yep, and perfect. So doing that does give 2 in 1. So that's why I recommend doing it in that method, just so you don't have to make the towers, finish the mission, go back, and do it all again. You can get these done 2 in 1. But anyway, now we're going to focus on the retrieve missing supplies. So all you have to do is go to forest, and it'll basically be the exact same thing where you retrieve the crates and then defend the supply crates again. But let's see, hop into a forest and just go from there. All right, here we are on forest, and now I have helped a few people out with these quests, so I may know where to go for these, but I'm not sure if they exactly change where they spawn per like round or per quest, or if they're always in the same designated spots. But I'll be back once I'm ready. It is the same exact strategy where you want to get down to like 42 titans and then start it, but I actually don't 100% know about that because, again, I can't remember if it immediately bleeds into the forest defense like it does with the escort, or if you need to go back into a forest. I'll come back when I find out and when we're ready for the next part. All right, and we finally found it. It was at the very edge of the map, which is very unfortunate. But let's see what happens when I put in the last one. Okay, yep, it just immediately puts you into a defense. Okay, so you do want to save the last titan. Never mind about that whole thing with killing the last titan and loading back into giant forest. You just want to go ahead and do exactly what you did before. I'll be honest, I have no idea how long this goes on for. I don't think it says, but just kind of keep going until, you know, the game forces you to stop. Okay, it just kind of ends. I'll put a timer just to see how long that goes on for, because I didn't even kill the titans. I didn't kill all of them. There was no objective, like, timer or anything, so I'll let you know how long you need to defend for. I'll put a little timer at the top. But anyway, that's it. So let's go back to the main menu and discuss what we need to do for the last quest. All right, and there we go. We just have one more. For this one, you aren't going to want to put on boring because I do believe Ice Burst Titans count as a abnormal, but I do believe we can put on simple, and it does have to be an Utgard as it states here. So I'm going to try putting on simple just so that they're easier to deal with. They have a lot of HP and can be very annoying around this stage of the game, but let's give some advice on how to go about killing these titans. All right, here we are in Utgard. So the plan is just to kill every titan that's not an Ice Burst, just so we don't have to deal with any other random annoying titans like these ones that will just kind of crawl up to your face and kill you while you're trying to kill the Ice Burst Titan. So that's this is a glowing titan. This is not what we're after, because these ones will die in one hit. We're after a different kind. So I'll show you that once we get to this stage. And there we go. There's our first Ice Burst Titan. So thankfully we did get one. I do believe there is a chance you do not end up with one. So you can do an entire Utgard skirmish and one just simply doesn't spawn. It's something that happens, but all is good. You can just restart and wait until you get some more Ice Bursts. So I'll wait until a little bit to start clearing these because I still do have a few stragglers that I need to deal with. Okay. We have a bit of an isolated field here, so we can start killing these. So you have to hit the back of their nape a couple times before you can kill them. And I do believe that they are immune to getting stunned. Once you see that explosion, that means you can kill them. So just like that. And I do believe this one doesn't... I swear that one was an Ice Burst Titan. Was that not an Ice Burst Titan? I could have sworn I saw the Ice Burst, like, other glowing particles, but I guess we'll see once we return to the main menu. But it's pretty easy to kill them. You just kind of got to go for the nape once, and then back up, go for it again, back up again because it'll explode, and then go back in for the final hit. So it takes about 3 shots to do. Again, I don't think you can stun them until you clear that, but pretty relatively simple. Okay, so yep, it did count. So all we have to do is load up one more Utgard, hope we get lucky, and then we'll be done with our Thunderspears. So I'm going to go quickly do that. I'll just cut to when I do it. It's going to be the exact same thing as before. And we've done it. We've gotten all Thunderspear quests done completely solo. And something that I actually did realize about the Ice Burst Titans is that I kind of lied. You don't actually need to hit them in the nape. You can actually just hit them really anywhere. I was able to hit them in the face twice and they still blew up. So ignore my previous comment about me saying that you need to hit them in the nape. And just a reminder with them is when you start to see them scream, make sure to back away or else I do believe you get stunned and pushed back, which can break your bones and it can be annoying. So you can treat it kind of like Reiner. I assume most people in this stage don't do raids, but whenever you're going against the Armor Titan, whenever you get close to him at first, he immediately screams. So you kind of want to treat it like that, where you want to get up in its face, let it scream, and then go for the hits. Now we have Thunderspears. Yippee! And now that we have Thunderspears, my best advice for the early game is to just completely ignore them. Do not use these right now. They are very useless when they're E- grade, and they're pretty useless even without certain perks. You aren't going to be wanting to run these during skirmishes. You aren't going to be able to do raids yet. They're terrible for stall. Overall, just don't even waste your gold right now. There's no reason to upgrade these because I think when it comes to the skill tree, you aren't even really going to be able to max out your ammo. Or well, I guess you can, but regardless, they still just aren't worth using. There are 2 perks you can get that are going to make them a lot more helpful, and that is Maximum Firepower and Explosive Fortune. I would definitely try and trade for those once you reach, I believe it's Prestige 3, when you can trade for perks. But who knows, maybe you'll get lucky enough to be able to get it during a skirmish. I remember when I was new, I got Adaptation when I was Prestige 2, just doing skirmish on Stohas. So who knows, maybe you can get a little luckier. But anyway, I'm going to grind a little bit more Prestige, and then we can talk a little bit more about Prestige 2. Alright, so I do realize that I forgot to hide the UI during the recording of the last segment, and I did lie. I thought I only needed like, what, 6 or so levels, but now we're at level 125, so we're now ready to Prestige. And now, I do want to talk about gold and prestiging. A question I get asked a lot is, how much gold should I have before I prestige? And I would say it depends mainly on how efficiently you are able to grind. During this stage of the game, I would recommend just prestiging immediately, unless if you have 0 gold. So I would stick to maybe around 15 or so million, because you should be able to do docks and be able to get a decent amount of gold, but it really just depends on how much you want to do. I would say don't do too much because the limit to how much gems you get from prestiging is pretty limited. I'll put a graph on screen to show it exactly, so it's easier to visualize, but don't worry about it too much. I would just do it when you start to feel lazy, because you aren't going to get that much gems from it. And now we're going to pick luck here. I wouldn't recommend any of these other ones. Now let's prestige. I'm hoping for some decent memories. I'm not going to be expecting too much, just because, you know, I don't have that many scrolls. Stalwart, not very good. Reroll. Storm Charged, I plan on doing all of this solo, so I'm not going to really need it. Storm Charge again, just reroll. Okay, last one. Oh, Supernova. Okay, that's actually huge. I want to take this Supernova. I hope that this is going to make it easy to pivot to a Thunderspear build, because that's what I really want to do, just so I can grind Giant Forest and maybe even raids as well. So I'm definitely going to take this. Now we are Prestige 2. Now we have 50,000 gems. So I'm actually just going to buy a bunch of rerolls here. 500 should be fine. And I'm actually going to see how many spins I have in total now after some codes. And we have 1,437 rolls. Not too bad. I definitely am going to wait until next video to even touch this, or maybe the one after, just because I need this video to go out as soon as possible. So I'll worry about spins in a future video. And also, just a quick proof thing, I've just prestiged and I still have not played any matches. I mean, in an earlier episode, there was an incident where somebody did join my lobby before I even realized, but I just kind of Alt F4'd. But unfortunately, it seemed to have counted since we loaded into the match together. But still, this has been all solo. And now we can talk about trading a little bit. Now that we're Prestige 2, we can now officially trade for perks and artifacts. So it'll be a lot easier to get a better Thunderspear build online. I'm definitely going to be mainly looking for maximum firepower, explosive fortune, or maybe shifter perks. I think the shifter perks are just going to wait until I get a serum, whether I get that during Prestige 2 or I hit Prestige 3 and I can eventually just trade for a serum. Definitely going to go for the female one. Might even try and go for a colossal one if possible. Might just try and buy it with keys, but that's going to take a long time to get. But I think that's going to do it for this video. Make sure to subscribe, like, and leave a comment on what you want to see next in this series. And make sure to join the Discord as well, so you can give me more direct feedback, or if you just want to chill, ask questions, talk to me. I'm usually always there. Make sure to follow my Twitch as well. But anyway, have a good day, have a good night. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.